Welcome to another episode of Death Church Radio and Death Church Radio Podcast. Once again, it's me, Pastor Sean, and I'm coming to you live also from the Sean C. Stookie Show on Facebook. And what we're going to be doing today is something a little different here. Originally, I had planned that we were going to upload the August Q&A that finally got recorded, where me and my friend who's a medical assistant and also my brother Buck came on the show Friday night and we did an actual recording with a microphone and his computer and everything else to go over different questions that I found on a couple of different websites for people looking for advice on different things in their lives, to try to give them a different perspective so they could get through their problems. Unfortunately, that episode that we made went on a lot longer than anticipated when recording, and it needs a lot of editing. So most likely I'm going to be putting it on next week. And today what we're going to be doing is we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to be doing a clip show for the Death Church Radio podcast. I got 5 clips I'm going to be releasing. What we did is we actually made a after-hour segment. Actually, 3 of those are an after-hour segment that I was going to be putting up after we did the Q&A, plus also 2 other clips that I have here from a previous Death Church Radio episode on my phone that I never put on here for you guys. So what we're going to be doing today is doing a clip show instead, and then next week is going to be the August Q&A section. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you don't know how this works, go ahead. I should explain that part. Go ahead and listen to this as if it's just a podcast. What I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of work here and there on the apartment. And I'm going to be playing these clips here from my phone because that's where I do the majority of my recording, on here on the phone. And then I'm going to play it for you guys over this. So instead of just watching this like you're watching a YouTube video, just put in your headphones and listen to this like it's a podcast. So let's go ahead and get started with the clip show. And it's Death Church Part 1 from September 5th. So this was actually just it was actually only about a week ago. So let's go ahead and get started.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the After Hours segment. This is Pastor Sean. Hope you guys liked that whole August Q&A video that me and MA medical assistant Neil have been working on. He now is doing his last semester, and he's going to be becoming either clinical psychologist or psychologist or something or a therapist, like whatever it is that is in the line of that area. But this is the after hour segment, so I'm going to be attaching a 1 hour after this to this podcast. So we're it's going to go for another hour if you guys are interested. This is me just venting about my job, though it's not going to be about anything. It is going to be about something in particular, or particularly this is going to be about something, and it has to do with my current job. So if you guys want to just hang tight, you know what's going on in my personal life right now. So here's the thing. I've once again been getting very, very frustrated with my job. I'm not going to state where I work, but you guys know from previous episodes that I am an anesthesia technician's assistant, and also I'm an OR assistant at the same hospital. So the thing is that my 2 years is actually coming up, and I'm really, really considering I am almost 100% certain that I want to quit my job. So I am very, very tired of doing the same. It's not even necessarily of me doing the same job. It's along the lines of when I used to work at Safeway. I really liked and felt it relaxing and comforting to sit there, work in the produce section, and do the produce. Like go in the back, load up the cart or the pallet, and then come out and then replace the apples, new ones with the old ones. Or take out the old ones, put in the new ones and things like that, and do the wet rack and whatnot. But the politics of the job is what ruined it. My boss is what ruined, or one of my bosses is what ruined the job, just like what's going on now again. again, for literally like the 27th time. I've had many, many jobs in my life, just like I've talked about on previous shows. And so what I want to do now is vent about what's going on at work and how I think I already know what to do, but I want to talk this through just to make sure that I'm making the correct decision. So what does put me in a weird state is that I had to sign another 6-month lease. So this is around the same time of last year when I actually started doing these videos over again, where I was putting out a video a week, and I have been doing every week for about a year and like a month now. And around this time last year is when I was in the unfortunate predicament while me and my younger brother, were looking to rent a house together. So 2 to 3 bedroom house that we were looking for to combine both of our wages from both of our jobs, so it'd be easier for us to pay bills. And we were basically looking for something cheaper, but a house at the same time. And that did not go well because I didn't know beforehand that you need all 3 or no, it was like 4 to 5 companies that we called for about 4 to 5 houses. I think it was about 4 houses that we looked at where we said, okay, yeah, this is the one, and then basically not only were they asking for fees just to do background checks and like whatever it is that they were telling us, we had to throw down a minimum of $2,000 just to get in the house, let alone the monthly payments. So like just really crooked, just really stuff that's really gross. Like it's not just, hey, we need help. Can we just not do a down payment, but we will pay the first month's rent? What's the problem with that? I don't know. I mean, I'm not Dave Ramsey's. I'm not some guru or something that knows a lot about finances. It's actually a pretty weak spot in my life, is managing money and making budgets and understanding how things work with paying for things and whatnot. But anyways, it just comes off as pretty ridiculous to me that these things have happened so frequently. I do blame Tucson, the city, that this is a very, very gross place to live, and I have seldom ever liked living here since 2009 at any point. I really can't wait until the day of judgment comes and this place just gets wiped with fire. It's definitely deserving of it, I'll tell you that. Anyways, so that actually didn't work out because we didn't have the money. We still had to pay our rents where we're stuck because we have to give 2 months notice because me and my brother live in the same apartment complex here in Tucson. I'm not going to name which one it is, but we have to give 2 months notice. And the price for this place that we're currently in is really expensive. Even with a 1 bedroom or a studio, it's really expensive. So anyways, we weren't able to leave. So we had to reverse. So I had to go down to the office and reverse my decision and had to sign another thing that we had to go over, me and the person, like the office manager, stating that I would like to do a 10-month because that was their cheapest option at the time. Now their cheapest option is 11 months, but like by a couple bucks. So basically I had to take the option of doing 6 months because they are charging me so much money that I can't leave or leave comfortably without going to go live with my girlfriend or go live with my parents where I don't have to pay that much. But anyways, which has been a high annoyance. So I know where this happens I know a specific situation where this is happening to someone I know right now with their apartment complex. So like they're basically just setting you up to lose. And this is pretty normal here in Tucson. I don't know, like I know this is also pretty normal in the Bay Area, just not as bad. At least from my perspective back, I mean, it's been like 10 years. But yeah, I mean, if you are someone or you're a couple listening to this that are thinking about coming to move here to Tucson, no, I would not suggest that. This place is pretty gross. It's just, there's just so much ugliness here in the city. I literally can't stand it. I cannot stand living here. I just love the people I work with, and I love my friends, my crew, my family, my girlfriend, and those are the people that I love. And if we could just all go somewhere else, like San Diego, for example, I I might feel a lot better. So, but as of now, I can't because I signed a 6-month lease. So that puts me in a predicament because now I don't know if I can leave my job. So here's the thing. In 2 months from, I believe, this week, so 2 months from this week, I will have 2 years experience, which is the equivalent of having an associate's degree. So here's the thing. I need to leave this job, but my coworker who is lead anesthesia tech, who is actually getting paid to do that specific job, has announced that he is retiring, but this is quiet. I'm supposed to keep this information under wraps. So the thing is that he told my coworker that he's retiring, even though he told me a couple weeks ago that he's most likely not going to retire for another 4 years from now. So I had 4 years of preparation, even though I had already came to the conclusion in my mind, and also talking to my girlfriend about it, talking to my friends, like basically just getting advice and reading up online on different things about what do people do if they hate their jobs. And I even took a test on it, like on Psychology Today. When is it time to quit your job? And I was 9 out of 10. So you know it's bad. So anyways, there's just been ridiculousness. I mean, I made a video about this maybe like 7 months ago where I was really venting to the camera, but I decided not to put it up on my Christian YouTube channel. I decided not to do that. So the thing is that now that this guy is retiring, we don't know exactly when he's retiring, but now it's very soon. So we're thinking that what's going to happen is that me and my other coworker, my partner at work, we're going to be called into our boss's office and given the opportunity to usurp, the position. So, and my partner basically told me today, he said, Pastor Sean, I mean, he didn't call me that, but he said, Sean, it's going to be you. It's not going to be me. I'm not doing it. He's actually told me this before about a year ago that he wants to take the position. He doesn't want it. So that leaves me because I'm the only other person that they've hired, even though we should technically have 4 people working in my department, even though it's a small area or small-ish. It's just there's so much mismanagement is ridiculous. But anyways, so that leaves me in this weird predicament where, okay, so Sean, what are you going to do? That's what I've been asking myself since I heard the news at lunch today that the guy that I work under and also work with is retiring. What do I do? Because me and my girlfriend were talking about, so who's moving where? But it's implied that she wants me to move to Phoenix. And the thing is that I don't really want to stay here in Tucson. I don't like living here. I have never liked living here. I don't want to defend this place. So it's just, I don't want to leave my friends and my family. That's the problem. But I don't like living here. That's the thing. So I'd rather just visit sometimes than live here. Like Tucson is just, I'm not going to get into more specifics and details here, but it's just, this place is just so ridiculously gross. I hate living here. I've always hated it. It's just this has been such a negative experience for me living in this god awful city. But anyways, so now I don't know what to do because they're probably going to pull us in the office when he retires, which is going to be soon. And they're going to say, okay, well, we want to pick one of you. And then my coworker is going to say, no, he wants me to do it. So I'm going to be getting a raise, but that's going to be more responsibilities for a job I already hate going to. To me, the decision should be clear because I don't even really like money that much. I don't really care for money. I just like the fact that sometimes it gives me comfort. But if you just live below your means, you should be fine. I mean, I would rather just go back into some other medical field and just do something basic like part-time and then work for Postmates or Lyft or something the other part of the time. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, just turn off notification. Anyway, so that's the predicament I'm in now. And the thing is, I just don't really know. I mean, I can't say that I don't know what to do, but because I do know what to do. It's to quit. So I guess here's the thing as to what I'm going to do. So I guess I just figured this out. I'm not going to take the raise. I'm not going to accept the position and tell them, you guys need to just find somebody else. You need to find someone from the outside and bring them in and pay them that money that you were going to pay me. Basically, let that person be our new leader for the anesthesia tech or that department. So that's my thing. I don't want to work there. I don't care to work there. I love working with the people, but there is too much drama. There's too much stress. There's always been too much stress. I hate the time change differences. I hate the fact that I get blamed for things that are not my fault. I literally could probably sit down and write 100 reasons why I hate this job and why I hate working in the medical field. But maybe it might not even be the medical field. Maybe it's just this specific job, because my girlfriend was telling me that her aunt is some kind of technician. I forgot what she said, and she's on call. I forgot what kind of technician, but she loves her job and she loves going in on call. She loves what she does, and I wouldn't say I love it. I mean, I'm just one of those drifter kind of people. Just to be completely honest, there's nothing out there for me. That's what I was thinking when I was at work for for one of the last cases before I left. There's never been anything for me. There is nothing for me. I don't fit into anything. I've never really truly enjoyed a job ever. It's just something where it was like high school. I look at the clock and I wait to go home. That's pretty much what that is. But since I started this job almost 2 years ago, I've always had this lingering feeling, well, not always, but off and on, that I cannot disconnect from work when I get home. Oh, I only have 3 hours to myself, and then I have to go back because I don't have the night shift, but I have like the late afternoon shift. Okay, guys, we'll be right back.
Okay, so that was clip 1, and before I get to clip number 2, just to throw this out there, the person that said that they were going to retire, actually, the person changed his mind. So just to throw that out there. So the person actually is going to be staying for another 4 years. But still, I am actually going to be looking for another job, like another occupation to go to, most likely in Phoenix. So let's go to part 2.
I do agree that to get the sides of both perspectives, I can even understand if you want to play devil's advocate with understanding something. I think that's okay, as long as, because he did say that. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
The thing is that you have to assume if I was running the church, it's under right, and I'm not sure how.
Oh no, I've already used that. Oh, sorry about that, guys. That was actually already used on a different show. So let's go ahead and go to the next clip then. I do apologize. That one, for some reason, I named it Death Church Radio Part 2 when actually that was a completely different episode. So I do apologize for that. So let's go ahead and get to the next one here.
What's going on, everyone?
Here it is.
This is Pastor Sean. I'm in a goddamn car right now. About to go to my sobriety thing after work. It's 110 degrees. It is September 5th, 2019. And I just felt like recording the second part to the hour-long after hours. And so I was thinking about my job again. Yeah, it's just nice how there's just a whole bunch of broken glass right there next to the dumpster. Nobody attempted to get a broom and go sweep that up really quick. No, I'm just going to go ahead and run it over with my tires, and once those go flat, I don't know what I'm supposed to do because I could get evicted tomorrow, but I want to be the first time. And I was just thinking about my job and like, okay, what if I stay? What if I go? It's just, I always feel like I'm in as someone else is in my head, trying to move me up the ladder to the echelon, but I hit a glass ceiling because of myself. It's how people project their images into me from society as to, and all the people that I know as to what I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing in society. And, you know, I did learn a lot from those Jordan Peterson videos. I watched like 300 of his videos. So, excuse me. So unfortunately, I picked up that mindset and let it live in me, which is a very beautiful, great mindset to have. And I read his book, well, most of his book, of the 12 Rules for Life, The Antidote to Chaos. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, what is chaos? So now I'm asking myself, I mean, I'm living with the detriment of just being myself. It's just not, okay, what am I supposed to do? You're supposed to climb the structure in the capitalist society, right? So that's how a lot of men, you know, that's what projects and moves their feet and their will to do things, is to get to the top. And that's what I was also thinking about before I recorded the first part of this video about greed, and how greed is at the top of the totem pole for a lot of men's will to act and desires to move, to get out of the house. It's all, a lot of that, at least for a lot of people I work with, is based on greed. So that has never been a benefactor for how I'm supposed to live my life. But at the same time, just to make it up the way of the, like I'm climbing up the corporate ladder, I've always had that mentality, like, who cares? And I thought that that was something in me that was where I was like drinking a cup of my own poison, right? And I'm just some kind of doomer walking around doing my night walks and whatnot. But anyways, it just, it's like it's like society projects things that they put their images and their thoughts and whatnot inside of me and then tell me what I'm supposed to do. And you're supposed to do these things because if you don't, then you're not going to make money. And money is very important because it's like, you know, Paul talked about that. I forgot which New Testament book, that the root of love of money causes all kinds of problems. Like it's a pain. It's like giant thorn bushes that causes, you know, that grows through other things that could be potentially good. So, I mean, I'm just a nomad. That's what I am. But at the same time, am I? I don't know. Like, I don't. The thing is, in this society that I'm in, I don't know who I am. I've never known who I am and how I fit. I've never known that. I've had, like I said at the beginning of the program, this is my 27th job, and this is actually the job I've held the longest because of my own personal pride issues inside. I'm showing people that have projected into me, oh, look, I'm worth it. To my parents, my friends. I mean, I have a specific best friend. Actually, a couple people in my life that don't care. I would say, well, really the only person I can think of is my best friend who never really cared about where I was, like on the statistic totem pole in society. Like, where am I? Am I at the bottom where I'm a homeless person? Or am I at the top, you know, where there's a Fortune 500 company? He never cared. So, the thing is that I don't, it's like I know how to be me, but I don't know where I fit in this. I just do things to do them. It's like, I mean, I thought of this analogy when I was in the car in Phoenix. My girlfriend was driving us to go to the Marshalls. We were talking about the dichotomy between us, right? And the thing is, let me make sure this thing's still recording. Okay, so the thing is that with the dichotomy, I looked at it like both of us walking towards a stream that was just, let's say, going like 5 miles an hour, like just going at a normal pace. There's no rapids. There's no thorns in the water. There's no heavy rocks. It's just going at a normal pace. And so what she would do in a situation where she sees that she feels that she needs to get to the other side. The thing is that so many people here in society always feel they need to do something, which makes sense because how are the buildings going to be around? How is anything going to work if you don't have a good hard work ethic? Even though here in Tucson that's not the case, it's actually backwards. It's like in order to become a Tucsonian, you had to have had a lobotomy at some point in your life because there's a lot of stupid people here. But anyways, she feels she needs to get to the other side for some reason. So she gets a canoe and she gets a paddle. She gets into them and she paddles as hard and as fast as she can to get to the other side while the stream is taking her along. And with me, I walk a couple feet in the water and then the water just slowly takes me. I lay back and then I just flow in the abstract. I've always been like that. Wherever the wind's blowing, I just blow into that direction. If it's a tornado, a dust devil, wind's just blowing to the east or west, cold winds coming from the north, it doesn't matter of what direction, it's like a leaf. That's how I see my life. I just do things. But there's not really a reason or a desire or some kind of sub-abstract like thought or maybe the push of someone's words that were behind me pushing me. That's just how my personality is. Which brings me to my next conundrum in life, being 31 years old, of I'm supposed to do these things because Jordan Peterson put these things in my head. But now I'm thinking that it doesn't really make sense. Okay, so I did these things in order to be successful so I wouldn't drift. Get a girlfriend, go to college, get a good career, and do these things, and then you die. That's not for me, though. Now that I've now that I've wrestled with all these ideas, like how Jacob wrestled with the angel of God, and I've contorted and wrestled and stretched with all these ideas of his, and I've come back to the same conclusion where I was before when I felt that I was stuck, if that makes any sense. It's not like I'm in the pond of despond. I'm just in the mud, but I'm not struggling to pull my boots out. It's just, I'm here, so I'm just going to stand here, and I'm okay with it. I know a lot of this is being pushed from behind my skull. It's being pushed, and I feel like I'm being dragged because of my job. So, because I could have a completely different opinion on this if I was unemployed for like 6 months. I could have a completely different opinion because I've had these opinions where I felt that this, I used to have this lingering thought in the back of my head from that Bible verse about, if you're the ant that doesn't work, then you are worse off than an unbeliever. I haven't sinned in that aspect or that way in almost 2 years now because I make decent, good money at my job, even though I'm living way above what I'm supposed to be living at financially wise, to the point where I can't really afford my rent, even though I make good money. But now I just feel like there's this hole. There's this little black hole in me. I'm going to a group right now. I'm going to the men's group, and it does help. Like, Jesus does help a lot. Like, he mostly helps with everything every aspect of my life, every avenue that points out in what hundreds of directions from a center Jesus has helped out with. So, but to get to the echelon and to ride the monolith up to the top, I just don't get it anymore. I understood it when Jordan Peterson was talking about it, but now I don't get it again. It's more like I think I would just be happy being a nomad, because that's what's natural for, it's what's natural for my brain and my nervous system, how I act, my personality type. I just knew when I went to that church, the Crossroads Church, to try to go into their job program, I had to take a test. And the only two things that it said on the test was to become an interpretive dancer or to work at photography, like some kind of photography thing. I don't know what it said. The two things I did take in school, it's a private detective, though, but I've been talked out of joining the police force a couple times by a couple different people throughout life. So I thought maybe that would be my thing, would be a private investigator. But like what I want to do with my life is I want to open up a halfway house, a halfway program, maybe like a men's ministry for people coming out of prison and want to get off drugs and put them back into society, but have them be good, productive members of this society. But then it's like, how am I supposed to do that when I don't even know what achievement looks like? What am I supposed to achieve to be? Because the end goal in the back of my head is to be happy and not feel unhappiness, to have a good balance. And there's just too many factors and sub-factors that get in the way of that. So, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I think I would feel better living in an RV and just driving around, hardly spending any money and just talking to people, like when I'm talking to my phone right here for the show. I think that's how I would be happy. But I've been in that situation and I wasn't happy. So, what about that? I've just always it's like that guy Eric Erickson. Because my girlfriend, we took a test together when driving down in San Diego a couple months ago, and we took a test, and she got Eric Erickson as her answer. So, or it might have been me. It was one of us. And so I said even though he was a doctor, he always struggled with feelings of inadequacy. And I feel the same way. I think these same things. I always ask myself these same questions. I can't stop the aging process, which I think would help. But at the same time, I want to age. Because I know that we're in a fallen state. I know that this is a very ugly, dark world, and I don't want to live here more time than I was fine dying at 16, guys, and I'm 31, so, I'm really glad that didn't happen. I'm very happy about that, don't get me wrong. Anyways, so, it's like, I don't know, Joe Rogan talked about that when Chris Cornell killed himself, that he said his answer to that was just to make more challenges and tests and goals for yourself so you could climb a mountain and achieve and get that goal. To me, that's not life. The purpose of life is to worship God and to worship Jesus. That's how I see this. The purpose and goal of life is to walk with Him and then do things. Is to walk with Christ first, and then it goes to that orbital sphere to project in 100 different directions. Then that happens. So, I completely do not agree with that. Oh, maybe he should have quit his band Soundgarden and decided to become the world's greatest painter next. It's like, I can see why people would think that that's correct, but it's like there's a wound, there's like a big wound that needs surgery, and you keep putting Band-Aids on it and it ain't working, Excuse me, it's just not working. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop this now. We're going to go to a break. I'm going to go into the men's group right now, right when I get past this. I just can't stand it when I can't see, the cars coming. Anyways, when you have to stay at that light and then wait to turn left even though you have the arrow, people are still coming. Or you don't have the arrow, people are coming, but you can go if you want. But then you get the pressure from the person behind you, possibly honking their horn and stuff. Anyways, so thanks guys for listening, and God bless.
And also with that one, it was also very nice. For the group I did, was actually the Calvary men's group. That's kind of like an AA at the same time that they have on Thursday nights. And it was, it was kind of boring, but it was pretty good at the same time. So anyways, let's get to the next part here. Let's see. I know I have it in here. So actually, I'm going to do a fourth part, and then I'm actually going to play the Doug's Labyrinth Part 3. That was the original part. I made a different Part 3, but this one, I don't know, actually, because it doesn't really fit with what I'm playing here. I'll play this episode that I made back in July. Another 15 minutes.
I think it was a bit of a mistake to leave so soon. I think I should have just stayed in Phoenix for the weekend.
I still don't really know what's on that. Okay, hold on. I apologize here. I just kind of screwed me up having to do a clip show instead of doing the original idea. But anyways, just from now on, just to record everything on my phone for every episode. So anyways.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Pastor Sean, and welcome you guys to the newest episode of Death Church Podcast. I've actually been working on a sermon. This actually, most of last week, actually, because today's Sunday, it's the Lord's Day, and I've been working on a sermon from 1 Thessalonians, I believe, chapter 5, titled What is Marriage? And that's going to be, so what I did this week is that for this week's video, I actually went and put up a 6-hour prayer video. So that could be why, I mean, it might be one of the reasons why I have just knots in my stomach, but like I feel it right now after I just for some reason talked about releasing the prayer video and start doing it tomorrow, start enacting the prayer. But I mean, it could even be like a demonic thing. It could be spiritual warfare, because for the ones of you who don't know what's going on, because the last episode I put up was like a month ago of the podcast. So what's been going on lately is that Pastor Sean has been struggling with having some stuff in my stomach where I'm having tension and I feel like there's knots in my stomach. But the thing is, I don't exactly know why I have knots in my stomach. I don't know where this tension's coming from, per se. I just felt it right there. Not exactly sure where it's coming from or why I'm getting them to take a stab at it. It's could be my job that I'm worried about and stressed about. There was a woman that I work with who is like for the day or 2 days out of the week, she's like the chief nurse, and she told me and a coworker that she's leaving in about 3 months. And another woman who's my friend that I talked to, just for a little bit, for the times that we're allowed to talk. We're talking about once a day for the last year and 3 months, has quit. This is a different woman. So there's always been an influx of people coming and quitting at this job. And I think that could be the reason why recently I'm now getting like knots in my stomach to the point where I just feel like I'm going to have sometimes I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack. And I haven't felt this way in quite some time. So another person who also actually quit the job because he was getting panic attacks. So, that's a situation, unfortunately, that my friend is in. It's this guy that I used to hang out with at work for the last over, year. I've been at this job for maybe like 16 months at this point. And this is a guy who quit. So he quit because he had 2 panic attacks while driving to work. And then when he tried to come back after not showing up to work for about 5 weeks in a row, he came back for 2 days, started having panic attacks because of our boss, or his old boss. And unfortunately, that's just what happened. So he ended up quitting. So it just feels like there's just psychological problems that I'm having right now that I'm assuming I'm not dealing with, because when I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, but what Pastor Sean here does at times is I'll go on WebMD and I'll diagnose myself with whatever it is that's going on in my body. So I don't really do this that often, but I just felt like I needed to do it because I thought that it could be a big problem. I'm just having pain in my side, like in my lower abdomen on the left side, but it permeates to my kidneys and also to, like, sometimes it's at the upper right side of my abdomen. Sometimes it's mostly just on the lower left side. Like, I just feel dull tension. And I've been feeling this for about, just to take a guess, maybe 2 weeks now, where it's now a daily occurrence. So I'm thinking it's something that I'm not psychologically dealing with. I don't know, maybe if it's the job or the fact that I have not been writing. I'm working on my book. I have been working on my book, but I've been painting instead of writing. So maybe it's just stuff that I have clogged up inside that I'm not dealing with by writing these poems to just get it out of my system. Because that's also a possibility. But I mean, it could honestly be a plethora of problems, and it could be something that's just or it could even be the fact that this woman's coming over, and she should actually be here any minute, of this woman that I'm dating, and that I'm thinking that there's a possibility that it's just not clean enough in my apartment, even though I cleaned for, like, me and my friend and my brother cleaned for like 2.5 hours yesterday. So, I mean, I personally cleaned for like over an hour, almost an hour and 15 minutes just by myself. So, or maybe I just don't have enough water intake, or I'm not exactly sure where this is coming from, but I'm just going to take a guess. Getting a call right now, but I don't know who that is. Okay, anyways, so continuing with the show here. So, not really sure what's going on. So, guys, just pray for me. I actually just canceled my contract with this company called Massage Envy that I've been going to the last 4 months or so, like 4 or 5 months. I actually canceled the contract, and I'll probably go there one more time, and that's about it. And I'm going to be using this money instead of going to get massages once a month to go maybe bi-weekly to see a psychiatrist to try to figure out why do I feel this way. So I don't know. So that's what's been going on lately. And it's just been, kind of, I mean, it is a possibility that it could be connected with my sinuses, but I don't think so. I think it's like an irritable, like, intestine or something. I'm not really, I could even be lactose intolerant and not realize that I am, because I have been eating a lot of fruits and vegetables lately. I've really, for the most part, I really cleaned up my diet within the last like 3 months. I've cleaned up my diet. I'm actually not eating as much bad food as I used to. I'm more so eating just salads and meats and fruits and vegetables and drinking a lot of water, even though I'm still drinking soda, just not as much. I've cut probably half the amount of soda that I drink out of my diet. I still drink soda, just not really that much. I drink, water and juice and milk and stuff like that, just trying to I just felt like the need to live a healthy lifestyle just because of the demands of my job. So, I mean, I think it's just going to be really beneficial to go ahead and just go meet a psychiatrist and start seeing this person maybe once every 2 weeks to try to figure these things out within me, so I know what's going on in my body. But it's just really been freaking me out lately, to the point where I got really, really angry about it. And so to just reiterate what I already said a bunch of times, I don't know where the source of the stress is coming from. Because I feel like I'm being spoiled or not. I don't want to acknowledge things that are stressing me out because I have a good life. I mean, I just like to go to work, for 8 hours a day to make the money I need to make. And then when I come home to exercise, if I can, usually about 2 to 3 days out of the week, I can't because I'm too tired. excuse me, because I'm too tired to exercise when I get out of work. It's just a job. This job that I'm talking about lately, actually within the last 2 weeks, it hasn't been that bad. Actually, not that much. It's been pretty chilled and at like a normal pace. So it's actually not been that bad at work. I'm just not really I just don't really know what the problem is. I'm thinking it has to do with writing, to take a guess, because this wasn't happening back when I was working on my book of writing 2 poems a week, or writing 1 poem and try to write 1 short story. So yeah, I mean that's what's been going on in Pastor Sean's week recently, is just having irritable stomach pains. So it just feels like there's knots in my stomach, but it's, as opposed to only it happening when I get really stressed out, which is usually from work. I've now, for the last 2 weeks, I've been feeling it all the time, like all day, all night. So yeah, so hopefully once I start starting up with going to see a psychiatrist, I actually found one that's, I think, within 10 minutes of driving from my place, that is going to be okay, that everything's going to work out. So we're going to figure out why I feel the way that I do. I mean, it also could be just the fact that, I mean, I actually don't know. It could be demonic. It could be something where I'm not acknowledging something of a sin that I need to repent of. That's also a good possibility. I have not watched, I've not watched anything of sexual content in a while, so I don't think it's that. It could be that. I'm actually not. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. So I'm just taking a stab at it, I guess. But I mean, what I like to do is just have enough energy when I come home. I mean, one of the things that could have been the reason is that I have been drinking a lot more coffee lately, and that's what could be. It's upsetting my intestines, but maybe. So I've noticed that I've actually started to drink 3 cups of coffee a day, like now, within the last couple of weeks, just because of, like I said, the demands of my job. I mean, the medical field is just very demanding. So, and also there was another person that I work with closely who encourages me to do my Bible studies live on Facebook on Wednesdays. Now she's out because of the amount of stress that she's been under, and she ended up needing emergency surgery, and she's going to be out for the next 2 weeks. So it could be just a compound of emotions that I feel that there's no justice between the people that keep leaving under terms where they're getting hurt, or under terms of them just not loving their jobs and their lives and need to leave. I think it just could be because of the great amount of negativity at my job. I think that could be it, but I'm just taking a guess. That's the one that actually makes the most logical sense, but it also could be something where I'm just not repenting of a sin. So that's something I need to do tomorrow. Once I get off work, I'm going to be doing that, and then I'll record another 15 minutes of the Death Church Radio podcast. So I'm gonna sit in prayer and just find out what it is. Like, why is this? Try to figure out why is this happening, and ask God to reveal things to me to start repenting, so I can get right with Him, and then hopefully I'll stop having these feelings in my gut where it just feels like it's just in knots. So one of the things talked about meditation, and that's an idea that I have for my channel. So one second, I'm going to take a swig of water. So, I mean, that also could be, that could be a possibility also on its own, that I'm just not meditating in the Lord enough, and I haven't been doing this the last couple of weeks, or maybe a month or so, actually, to tell you the truth, where I just need to sit there and meditate. I tried to meditate the other day, but it just wasn't working. It was just making me more nervous. So I feel like I've actually lost the ability to meditate, but it was like the wrong kind of meditation, not the one that's godly, but like the third eye meditation stuff. I've actually not done that in a really, really long time, like years. But at the same time, like to just meditate with the Lord and just stay still and stay quiet, and acknowledge that God is God and that everything's just going to be okay, and that the purpose of God for you in your life is going to benefit because you're walking with Him, and that He tells you not to stress about anything. So I just need to be cleansed. I think I just need to be spiritually cleansed, I guess. So that's what I should do tomorrow night when I get off work. Just take like 20, 30 minutes out of my time before I cook dinner and do this podcast and just meditate on the Lord and meditate on Scripture and just see how I feel after that. So that was the beginning of the show. So stay tuned, and we're going to go ahead and continue after this.
Okay.
We'll call it the Jaeger Years.
Okay, so yes, that was also Death Church Part 1. So that I recorded a while ago, actually. So I'm going to be showing you guys. This one's called Therapy. I'm not exactly sure what's on it. Actually, probably should listen to it first before I decide to put it up here. Actually, I'm going to play you 2 more clips. It's parts 4 and 5, both recorded today. One being that one of these actually cut off by accident when I was driving, and the other one is where I came back after I got out of the drive-through for the Dutch Brothers. So, yeah.
Hey, guys.
Also, just to throw this out there, I was clearing my throat a lot and clearing my voice because I woke up with a lot of, mucus. Try not to be gross here, but yeah, because I've been sick for the last 8 days. So, yeah, let's go ahead.
Welcome to part 3 of the Death Church Radio podcast. And I'm actually still waiting on my friends to have the episode fully edited, because I said there was going to be I do apologize for my voice to start off. I'm actually recording this about a week and a half later from when I made part 2, and I have been sick for the last week, like over a week now, and I've just been sneezing and coughing nonstop. So anyways, my friend actually said that there needed to be a lot of editing done to the video that we made on Friday for the August Q&A, where we give people advice, and we did 13 questions that we found from different websites of people looking for answers about things. He said there was a lot of editing needed to be done, and it might not be done today, so instead I'm going to be doing the Death Church Radio podcast episode instead, so which was supposed to be an after-hour segment, but it's okay. He's got a lot on his plate. He's very busy, and I can't edit on my computer. So, anyways, well, I just went to a game last night, and it was very fun, except that, my sciatica was acting up, and it was really just getting to the point where it was becoming very painful. So I think next time when I go to the next game, I probably should just invest in some money and buy a chair to bring to the game. So I went to the University of Arizona football game when they took on Texas Tech last night. So it was my first game. Excuse me. First game this year. So, that was really fun. And, I don't know, I guess I just don't really have any, on my mind, I don't really have anything, to talk about. I apologize, I am so, clogged up right now, I can't breathe. And I can breathe through my mouth, but this sickness has just really, it's just been terribly annoying like living with this for the last week. I caught a flu. So I had the flu for about 2 or 3 days from someone at my job that I got last Friday, and it's just been so ridiculously annoying. And also being that I still have had to go to work and work very hard at that. So, but anyways, there's new things on the horizon now. There's a new plan on the horizon. So, well, let's see. Okay, 3 minutes. Okay, so a lot of time has passed here to tell you what's been going on in my life. So I actually had to re-sign a new lease that I'm going to be doing for 6 months, and then when January 15th hits, I'm going to go into the office and tell them, hey, I'm vacating in 60 days. So I'll be leaving March 15th. That's going to be my last day living at my complex here on the, it's not the east side of Tucson. I'm not really, let's see the west side. It's east-ish, so anyways. And most likely what's going to be happening is, so the plan has changed again, where me and my girlfriend were talking about, okay, who's moving where and doing what. And as of now, it's subject to change, so it's going to change again. But as of now, I'm going to be moving to Phoenix in March. She now, there's a good chance that she's going to be getting a call center job up there in the meantime of her possibly going to become a federal agent for the DEA. So that's what's going on in my life right now. I mean, that's let's see. So it's like September. I think it's actually September 15th today. So it's actually 6 months from today. I will be gone and moving out of Tucson to go start a new chapter of my life. So been to Phoenix many times, just like Mexico, where I've been there about 9 times in the bad side of Mexico. But anyways, so in next week, finally getting on vacation, because so here's the other thing I'm going to be doing with my job, because I'm going to go ahead and assume that nobody from my job is listening to this, that listens to my show, or if they do, they don't tell me they do. So I think it's actually, I'm going to Dutch Brothers. It's on Broadway. Okay, never mind. Just thinking, like, where is this place at? Okay, so the plan is that, like, here's the thing. I was talking to both my mom last night, or actually yesterday, and my girlfriend the other night about the job and how the job this week is just, it's just been very annoying. And because my coworker, the one, just a second. I'm struggling to keep the conversation up here to talk. Like, I have so much phlegm, like, in my chest, and it's just, guys, it's not on this side of the, I don't understand why people do that, but the car is, okay, the fire, it's not a fire truck, it's like the other one, like the sheriff's version of the firefighters. Truck was coming, but it was blazing on the other side of the road, but everybody on my side of the road went to pull their cars over to park on the side next to the sidewalk. It actually doesn't say that, and when you take those classes to get your driver's license, it's if they are on your side of the road that you're supposed to do that. Anyways, it's just Tucson. It's just, this place is so dumb. But anyways, or maybe I'm just being narcissistic. I don't know. Anyways, So, well, because of that ambulance, I actually forgot what I was talking about. Let's see, I'm going to Dutch Brothers. Oh, my job. So, here's the thing. I've had another pretty bad work week, and then the 2 work weeks before that were pretty awful. So, like, this is a job. What's going on? It's the after hours right now.
It's Joe's show. We back. We back. This is what we were meant to do.
Oops. Sorry. Okay, so that was this one. Okay. So now it's going to be one more 11-minute clip, and this is after I came back from Dutch Bros, and then that's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to
then we will end it.
Now that I have cleared some of my throat, so this is part 3, and I actually, or part 4, it's one of them. I actually forgot which one it is, but I was trying to talk when driving around to go to Dutch Brothers to get my Sunday morning coffee. Normally I go to Crave, but I've been on Dutch Brothers like lately, so it's like the coffee's really good. So I still think the best one in town that is no longer around is Rattlesnake Espresso. That was my favorite one. But anyways, I had to clear my throat because I've been sick the last 8 days. Like, it's been over a week now since I got sick. I got a flu from someone at work. And anyways, I was talking about quitting my job again. So this time it's for sure. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to apply for this job called Doc Ock. It's a call center up in Phoenix. And from what my girlfriend's cousin said, it's actually really, the job is really not that difficult. It's free health care. You just have to pay a $25 copay. And literally anything you need for the medical field at that job, they'll pay for it. Doesn't matter how expensive it is from what she told me. So, sounds too good to be true, but usually it is. So, but we'll see. And my lease, actually, I had to sign another new form yesterday for my apartment complex because they screwed up. So I'm going to be doing with that is I signed a new form actually yesterday afternoon before I went to the football game last night, and which I found out a lot of people that I know were actually at that game, like guys I hang out with, like my friends of friends too. Like everybody was at that Texas Tech game last night, so it was pretty dope. It was really exciting. So anyways, but my lease is actually up March 15th of 2020. So from, I believe today, I now have 6 months left for my lease because that was what I wanted to do was just sign like a 1-2 month lease, but they wouldn't let me. They would let me do it, but it was going to be much more expensive. So like going up $150 something. So anyways, so I'm going to be doing that. And I'm going to leave. I'm going to go work at the call center. My girlfriend, she got the interview for the job, and hopefully she's going to be starting pretty soon here for training. I'm really praying to God that she gets this job quickly, because she is in need of money. So, because she quit her job a couple weeks ago and doesn't have a job lined up. So, just praying that this happens, or she's going to have to either come move in with me here in Tucson, or she's going to have to go move with her parents in New Mexico. So, don't know yet. I'm actually thinking about becoming a trucker still. I've been thinking about this for about 2 weeks now. Still mulling it over. It's definitely something I want to do. So, I think it's good. I was talking to my coworkers about it. They were saying it was a good idea. It's just perfect for my personality type. I think I would love doing it because I love to record things like this. And I also really love to listen to podcasts and listen to records when I'm driving, like buy CDs. Really wish I could just buy records, buy a record player to keep in my car. But anyways, so I'm just doing too much at once. But anyways, so that's what's going on with that. And so it's called Doc Ock, and it's an insurance, I believe it's like a medical insurance job where you're like the middleman or something like that. The guy said, that the job is actually not that difficult. So And for today's show, it's either that I'm going to be putting up this podcast. Oh, sorry about that. I'll go ahead and turn that down. So which one is it? There we go. Okay, sorry, I had to turn that off. So, I guess I actually should probably explain why I'm leaving my job. So, it's going to be my 2-year anniversary coming up on either November 1st or November 10th. And it's September 15th now, so it's like a month and a half away, something like that. And so that's what's, I'm proud of myself and thankful that God has pulled me through this job because I wrote about 30 poems in my last book, and a lot of them had to do with my job and how depressing the job is. And even though I had a lot of fun and laughed and had a lot of good times at my current occupation working at the hospital, the job is very, very difficult, and I'm kind of tired of getting screwed over because there is no trickle down. So if anyone tells you about trickle down theory when it comes to business, economics, or the government, it doesn't exist. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at my job. No information gets relayed unless you purposely pull the person aside, your manager or whatever, and tell them what's going on, and then they might work with you, maybe. But the thing is that for the last 3 weeks, 2 of those weeks, the guy who runs anesthesia has been on vacation, and then he had to go out of work on last Thursday because he sustained an injury while he was in a different state. So, which left me and just one other guy, my partner, for us to fend for ourselves. And we've been fending for ourselves for like the last 2 weeks. And then now, because my other coworker, my other partner, is on FMLA because of personal family matters, he's going to be leaving early tomorrow at work. So I'm just tired of getting screwed over, and I know technically the fault is the management for not hiring a 4th person. So no matter what happens, if someone's going on vacation or somebody gets injured or somebody gets hurt or there's a family emergency, there's always at least 3 people inside the OR. So that's management's fault, and I'm tired of them screwing up. I am very, very tired. It is asinine. This is a very asinine job. I was literally just saying this last Thursday or Wednesday to one of my coworkers, one of the nurses. I said, I'm 31 years old. I've had 27 jobs. And this job at the hospital I'm working at, this is some of the worst mismanagement I've ever seen that I've ever been a part of. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of, really, here's the thing. I'm going to give you guys some advice. This is what my dad told me, and it makes complete sense. So I'm going to give you guys some advice. Do just enough work so you don't get fired. Don't go above and beyond the call of duty for whatever position you're in, because 9 times out of 10, what's going to happen is that the only thing you're going to get is a thank you and a handshake. You're not going to get a raise. You're going to be honored in that way, where people are going to be constantly saying thank you to you, which is nice, but it's not good enough. To me, it's not good enough. And basically, by being a good worker and good comrade in the whatever field that you're working in, all it does is get you more work and more responsibility for the same amount of pay. So don't do that. It's like what Homer Simpson said. You don't go on strike, like it said in the episode of Last Exit to Springfield. You don't go on strike, you just go and you work really half-assed. What you're asked to do, you do half of that. That's the American way. So, and this applies to any field. If you're responsible, what you're going to get is just more responsibility, and the people that slack off and don't do that much, they're just going to be held to their expectations, but they're going to get paid the same as you, if not more. So don't do that. Work hard enough to not get fired. Basically, like when you watch a football game, you're the coach or you're the player, and you're just going to play not to lose, but you're not going to play to win. So that's the advice I'm going to give the listeners here, because all being a nice guy does really is get you more work, and it just makes your life harder, and it makes things more difficult. Okay. Guy on a bicycle wearing all those stickers all over his like pants and the back of his shirt. Literally riding his bike in the middle of the street lane there. Okay. I really can't wait until that stuff stops. I can't stand it when people ride bikes and like they're in the car lanes. I really can't stand that. I'm sorry. Like, if you listen to my show, like, please don't do that. Just ride your bike on the sidewalk, please. Anyways, so I'm coming up to my house right now. This has been the Chuck Stew Show, this has been Death Church Radio podcast. I'm Pastor Sean. For this week, this is supposed to be the after-hour segment for after the recording of doing the August Q&A with Robert Neal, and also my brother, Buck, to give some advice to people that are asking for advice on a couple of different websites that I found that I've emulated off of Jordan Peterson's videos, where he does monthly Q&As on his YouTube channel. So we do that here on this channel. My friend said that the editing process, because he's doing it on his computer because we used a microphone, like a legit podcast thing, instead of my phone or his phone. He said there was a lot of editing to be done. So the episode might not come out this week, but
So it's probably going to come out next week. But thank you guys for listening. That was 5 clips for the Death Church Radio Clip Show. So thank you guys for watching. This is Pastor Sean, and God bless.